I am back with Gare and Steph, and I think we're all kind of a sleepy little group. Maybe not Steph, though. She might just be thriving, but
Well,
Stuff's always thriving.
it's better than it was. It
yeah.
was a crazy house this weekend, so I'm a little more refreshed today.
Oh, nice. That's good. Well, we have a fun one coming up. We each picked like a trio of books that technically have something in common, but we have to try to guess what each person's like overarching theme was. So that's going to be super fun. But we are also going to talk about reading habits we want to leave behind, or reading related habits that we want to leave behind for 2025. So, who has one?
I have one that I'm not sure how I'm going to accomplish it.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like to leave behind feeling, well, I know how I'm going to leave it behind, feeling like pressure and overwhelm with my TBR. And I think, like, right now, I think I'm doing okay, but like, I requested way too many things that come out in January. Is it
Yeah.
anybody's fault? Yeah, it's mine. But like,
I did too.
and so maybe trying to limit that, and then things that don't have a due date, I've been really trying to get to, like, who cares? Get to it when you get to it. You don't have to have like a physical book and an audiobook going at all times. Like, just be slow. So what? So I think like
Yes.
pressure and overwhelm I'd like to leave behind because it's a hobby.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think mine is that, like, I'm going to allow myself to be more of a mood reader and, like, not pressure myself to, like, like, I plot out my TBR, like, to the point that I'm like, I can read this book. If I start it Friday night, I can finish it by Saturday night and then read something Sunday while I'm doing laundry. Like, I pressure myself too much in that way. And then I feel like I might not enjoy a book as much. Like, right now, all I want to, all I'm thinking about that I want to read is the new Ashley Winstead book.
Mm.
And I'm like, why? Like, why wait then? Like, if I want to read
Yeah.
it now and I love it, I'm still going to be talking about it when it comes out in March.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to,
Ugh.
like, fly by the seat of my pants kind of bookie.
That's good.
And I'm not going to get any colds in 2025.
None. Zero.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want mine to sound like a humble brag, but legitimately, I'm having more people reach out to want to be guests on the podcast. And like, what I will say is, I'm talking about like cold emails from like, there are a bunch of services that have popped up that are like, we'll get you booked on podcasts. And so I'm getting more emails from those people. And sometimes I feel like, well, I need to take each one seriously and I need to think about it. But like, I need to feel okay saying no to some of these offers because while yes, sometimes they play out well, it's what ends up kind of to some of your guys' themes, it's what ends up making me feel like pressured about reading is I just go ahead and say yes to too many things. So I'll be like, I'll have time to read it too. So being pickier and not just feeling like, oh, I'll have 3 episodes come out one week.
Yeah. Yeah, cool.
Will
That's
be
a lot of editing for you too.
Yeah, there's a lot of editing involved with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is tough because it's like sometimes, well, I will say, like, authors in my DMs does feel very different. And like often those actually fit what I want to read. But sometimes I'm like, oh, it's so hard to like write something and then like you're asking someone to read it. Like I like feel for them and I want to like, I don't know, help the underdog in some situations or whatever,
Right.
but I can't help everybody every year. So, gotta be pickier.
Yeah. Like, I can't adopt all the animals at the shelter, you know?
Right.
Right.
I just can't.
Oh.
Mhm.
That's how I feel about my TBR though. Where I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to be pickier sometimes. Like when I get a book and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, what was I thinking? Or like, why did I think that I would really be into this? But that's just
Yeah.
That's just like I have to be pickier with my TBR, and you have to be pickier with who you allow on the podcast. But like, I
Yeah.
feel like your like slogan at the bottom of your email should be like Gretchen Wiener's like, I can't help it that I'm popular.
That's amazing.
Oh my god. That's to the point you just made. There's times where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna request this book. It doesn't come out till June. Well, like, why am I requesting it now? Like, what?
Yeah.
I might not even, by the time it gets to June, I'm like, why did I request this? Like, no offense to the authors, but it's just like, it sounds fine. But would I have picked it if I was like mood reading right now? Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other hard part of being a mood reader and having access to NetGalley.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna start using my Kindle and NetGalley for some of the ones that I'm feeling like iffy on instead of a physical ARC.
That's a good idea.
I really want the
We're just
matcha
going to be
Kindle.
brand new readers in 2025.
Yeah. I'm gonna be brand
Boundaries
new
with ourselves and others.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Yes.
Fuck yeah. I'm gonna be Blair and Sharpest Tool by Sabrina Carpenter until January 1st.
Everyone in your town is going to be like, the sharpest tool guy?
Yeah, right. Oh,
They're like, oh
here
no,
he
you're
comes.
passing by.
You can hear him coming.
Well, I can kick us off with my.
So how are we structuring? Are we each doing still one at a time?
Yeah,
Or are
I think we
after?
can.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't know if I can read 3 synopses back to back.
Yeah.
Well, the first one in my little trio.
Wait, are we guessing? How are we guessing?
At the end.
You'll guess at the end when you know all 3 that we've recommended.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep. So, the first of my trio is The Prediction by Faith Gardner. We've talked about it, but it just fit. Welcome to Silicon Valley, where the weather is perfect, the income is high, and Rowena Snyder is miserable. A transplant from New York, Rowena moves into her husband Jacob's idyllic childhood home with their new baby. But suburbia isn't Rowena's cup of Starbucks, and she's got serious anxiety and depression to boot. Jacob, worried about their marriage, scores a new product currently in beta testing from his tech job, Maxine, a digital friend that bonds with an individual by continually gathering their personal data. Along with functioning like an upscale digital assistant, Maxine has advice and prediction nodes that have shown promise for patients with mental health issues. To Rowena's shock, the device turns out to be not just helpful but eerily accurate, predicting events before they even occur. It's a godsend until Maxine offers a series of increasingly bone-chilling predictions that will change Rowena's life forever. This one is very fun. Very, very like domestic suspense and techie at the same time.
Yeah.
And Faith Gardner's cool.
I'm
awesome.
taking notes like a little detective, by the way.
Good.
I'm like,
Oh.
I have like buzzwords and theories.
I love it.
Let me get out my little notebook then.
Steph's an old school detective. She's got like
I
the
know. I still write my grocery list, you guys. I'm so old.
Oh my gosh.
No.
That's cute.
I use reminders for my grocery list.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys done that? Like, you just like check it off. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
All I need is
I use
the app and do pickup
because I always leave my list at home. Like that's what a person should do.
Right.
Oh, let's see. So, Gare, do you want to go next?
Sure.
Because I still have 2 piles I'm choosing between, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. So, my first one is The Girls Are All So Nice Here by Lori Elizabeth Flynn. And this one is about a lot has changed in years since Ambrosia Wellington graduated from college, and she's worked hard to create a new life for herself. But then an invitation to her 10-year reunion arrives in the mail along with an anonymous note that reads, "We need to talk about what we did that night." It seems that the secrets of Ambrosia's past and the people she thought she'd left behind aren't as buried as she believed. Ambrosia can't stop fixating on what she did or who she did it. Larger than life, Sloane Sully Sullivan, her former best friend, who could make anyone do anything. At the reunion, Ambrosia and Sully receive increasingly menacing messages, and it becomes clear that they're being pursued by someone who wants more than just the truth of what happened that first semester. This person wants revenge for what they did and the damage they caused, and the extent of which Ambrosia is only now fully understanding. And it was all because of the game they played to get a boy who belonged to someone else and the girl who paid the price. Boom.
It is one of my all-time favorites.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so dark.
Very dark.
It's so dark. If you like that one and you haven't read Everyone Who Can Forgive Me Is Dead, it's a very good comp.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh yeah, that one's got a good one. Pile I was thinking of making was snarky characters, and that one would have fit in there. Oh man,
The moment of truth.
Mm-hmm. We should play the Jeopardy theme.
I know. All right. Well, I guess I'll. You know what? I kind of want to talk about these instead. All right. Ugh, so bleak. All right, let's do this one. All right. My first one is A Step Past Darkness by Vera Kurian. 6 classmates, one terrifying night, a murder 20 years in the making. There's something sinister under the surface of the idyllic suburban town of Wesley Falls, and it's not just the abandoned coal mine that lies beneath it. The summer of 1995 kicks off with a party in the mine where 6 high school students witness a horrifying crime that changes the course of their lives. The 6 couldn't be more different. Maddie, a devout member of the local megachurch, Kelly, the bookworm next door, James, a cynical burnout, Casey, a lovable football player, Padma, the shy straight-A student, and Gia, who's starting to see visions she can't explain. When they realize they can't trust anyone but each other, they begin to investigate what happened on their own. As tensions in town escalate to a breaking point, the 6 make a vow of silence, bury all their evidence, and promise to never contact each other again. Their plan works, almost. 20 years later, Gia calls them all back to Wesley Falls. Maddie has been murdered, and they are the only ones who can uncover why. But to end things, they have to return to the mine one last time.
That one had so many things going on.
There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Getting way too close to the camera. Okay.
I love her writing style too, and her characters.
Yeah, her humor clicks with me. I like a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my next one
Where it goes.
is one we talked about earlier in the last episode that aired with us. It's Fatal Intrusion by Jeffrey Deaver and Isabella Maldonado. Carmen Sanchez is a tough Homeland Security agent who plays by the rules, but when her sister is attacked, revealing a connection to a series of murders across Southern California, she realizes a conventional investigation will not be enough to stop the ruthless perpetrator. With nowhere else to turn, Sanchez enlists the aid of Professor Jake Herron, a brilliant and quirky private security expert who, unlike Sanchez, believes rules are merely suggestions. The two have a troubled past, but he owes her a favor, and she's cashing in. They team up to catch the assailant, who mystifyingly has no discernible motive and fits no classic criminal profile. All they have to go on is a distinctive tattoo and a singular obsession that gives his chillingly efficient tactician his nickname, the Spider. Over the next 24 hours, Sanchez and Herron find themselves in the midst of a lethal chess match with a killer online as they race to stop the carnage. As the victims mount, so do the risks, because this spider's web of intrigue is more sinister and goes far deeper than anyone could possibly anticipate. I struggled with that one. That was a hard one. So this one, very fun. has like this whole hacker element to it, as well as a serial killer and agents, law enforcement agents.
Mm-hmm.
It almost sounds like it would be like a really good like series too.
It is.
No, I
There
mean
are
like a movie or a TV show,
Oh,
like a
yes,
TV
yes,
show
yes.
series. Yeah,
Yep, I agree. It would
like
be really
I could
good.
see a lot of the things in that playing out well on film.
Yeah, it really would.
Well, my next one is called "Tell Me Everything" by Cambria Brockman. Um, in her first weeks at Hawthorne College, Malin is swept up into a tight-knit circle that will stick together through all 4 years. There's Gemma, the insecure theater major with... Oh, from London. I was like, with London? Oops. John, a tall, handsome, and wealthy New Englander. Max, John's cousin and shy pre-med major. Khalid, a wisecracking prince from Abu Dhabi. And Ruby, a beautiful art history major. But Malin isn't quite like the rest of her friends. She's an expert at hiding her troubling past. She acts as if she is concerned with all of the preoccupations of those around her. Boys, partying, all while using her extraordinary insight to detect their deepest vulnerabilities and weaknesses. By senior day on the cusp of graduation, Malin's secrets and those of her friends are revealed. While she scrambles to maintain her artfully curated image, her missteps set in motion a devastating chain of events that ends up in murder. As their fragile relationships hang in the balance and close alliances start shifting, Malin will test the limits of what she's capable of to stop the truth from coming out.
I loved that one so much.
Oh my god, it's
On my
so
TBR.
good. There's my eyes are so watery that like the lines when I'm reading the
Oh.
synopsis are like blurring, so I'm like, she's with London. But no, it's so good. There's actually one line in that book that like whenever I talk about it or like I see it, I constantly think about it. And it's just like stuck with me for years and years and years, but it's so good. It's so good. I can't wait to see what she like does next if she releases another book.
I know. I want her to.
I do too.
The
She's kind of
ending
like a
is so
Gillian
good.
Flynn meets Donna Tartt, I feel like.
I agree. Yeah, because it's dark. It gets really dark.
Yeah. Yeah. Bleak Billings.
This one was on. I have the hard copy, but I wanted to read it on my Kindle, and it was like available on Libby just to like
Hmm.
check out. And then all of a sudden now they're acting like they don't have it.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I think you would fly through it.
Yeah, I did.
I'll just read my paper copy.
It definitely gives like a little bit of like Tell Me Lies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. My next one is Jane Doe by Victoria Helen Stone. A double life with a single purpose, revenge. Jane's days at a Minneapolis insurance company are perfectly ordinary. She blends in well, unremarkably pretty in her floral print dresses and extra efficient at her low-level job. She's just the kind of woman middle manager Stephen Hepsworth likes, meek, insecure, and willing to defer to a man. No one has any idea who Jane really is, least of all Stephen. But plain Jane is hiding something, and Stephen's bringing out the worst in her. Nothing can distract Jane from going straight for his heart, allowing herself to be seduced into Stephen's bed, to insinuate herself into his career and his family, and to expose all his dirty secrets. It's time for Jane to dig out everything that matters to Stephen, so she can take it all away, just as he did to her.
That one was very good, too.
That one's very good. It
was very much my taste.
I can see that.
Especially when
There's
she
a little
goes
bit of everything.
cat.
I'm like trying not to make a lot of comments because I don't want to like spoil my guesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
went to say like 3 things about that book and I was like, bite my tongue.
Can I tell you what I thought was going to happen today? And maybe it's just like me not listening. So I thought I was just going to be like, in the beginning, what I thought Kate would pick and what I thought Gare would pick. Like, I thought we
Oh.
would guess in the beginning and
Oh.
see if you got it. And so when I read my synopses, I'm like, I wonder if people would guess what they have in common based on their synopses, based on how I thought it would be like they would already know the common thread when I read them. So it's interesting. I'll
Hmm.
be interested to see how it is compared
Yeah.
to how I thought it would be,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. That was
Yeah. No, that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my final one is a book that I just finished. I thoroughly obsessed with it. It doesn't come out until 2025, unfortunately, but
January or when?
yeah, January 2025. But it's called Dead Money by Jacob Kerr. In her job as unofficial problem solver for Silicon Valley's most ruthless venture capitalist, Mackenzie Clyde's gotten used to playing for high stakes, even if none of those tech bro millions she's so good at wrangling ever make it into her pockets. But this time she's in way over her head, or so it seems. The lightning rod CEO of tech's hottest startup has just been murdered, leaving behind billions in dead money that's frozen in his will. As the company's chief investigator, oh no, sorry. As the company's chief investor, McKinsey's boss has a fortune on the line. And with the police treading water, it's up to McKinsey to step up and resolve things fast. McKinsey's a lawyer, not a detective. Cracking this fiendishly clever killing with its list of suspects that reads like a who's who of Valley power players should be way out of her league, except that McKinsey's used to being underestimated. In fact, she's counting on it. Because the way she sees it, this isn't an investigation, it's an opportunity, and she'll do anything it takes to seize it. Anything at all. And then it says, featuring jaw dropping twists and a wily outsider heroine you can't help rooting for, Dead Money is a brilliant sleight of hand mystery written by a longtime insider. It's also a dead on snapshot of Silicon Valley's rich and famous, a glimpse at the darkness lurking behind the tech world's cheery facade. It is so good.
Dang.
It reads like a noir, but it's like where noir is a little grittier in setting. It's like it is the sleek modernness of Silicon Valley, but there are so many like shifting characters, and it is just so good. It kept surprising me. And then the ending, so good.
Hmm.
Genre bendy.
Yeah, I loved
Just as
it.
we were talking about how we're overwhelmed in January, Kate recommends another one that we're both intrigued by.
I know. And I had to read it because I'm interviewing him on January 7th. So I had to hurry up and
Nice.
read it. Yeah,
I'm glad you loved it.
Me
I
too.
loved it.
It sounds like a book you would love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it so much that I built my whole everything for tonight around this book just because I wanted to talk about it.
I love that.
Okay. My mind's still spinning with okay. So my next one, I have to add my notes for Miss Kate because I'm like, my next one is Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. Lucy Sharp is larger than life, magnetic, addictive, bold, and dangerous, especially for Margot, who meets Lucy at the end of their freshman year at a liberal arts college in South Carolina. Margot's the shy one, the careful one, always the sidekick, and never the center of attention. But when Lucy singles her out at the end of the year, a year Margot spent studying and playing it safe, and asks her to room together, something in Margot can't say no. Something daring or starved or maybe even envious. So Margot finds herself living in an off-campus house with 3 other girls. Lucy the ringleader, Sloane the sarcastic one, and Nicole the nice one. The 3 of them opposites but also deeply intertwined. It's a year that finds Margot finally coming out of the shell she's been in since the end of high school when her best friend Eliza died 3 weeks after graduation. Margot and Lucy have become the closest of friends, but by the middle of their sophomore year, one of the fraternity brothers from the house next door has been brutally murdered, and Lucy is missing without a trace.
More Tell Me Lies vibes.
Yeah. I know.
I do have some notes written. Okay, my last one is the Mindfuck Series by S.T. Abbey. Monsters can come in many forms. They took too much, left too little. I had nothing to lose until him. I didn't expect him. I didn't want to fall in love, but I can't let him go. Logan Bennett makes the world a safer place. He's brilliant. He's a hero. He locks away the sick and depraved. But while he's saving lives, I'm taking them, collecting the debts that are owed to me. 10 years ago, they took from me. They left me for dead. They should have made sure I stayed dead. Now I'm taking from them, one name at a time. I've trained for too long. I've been patient. I can't stop now. Revenge is best served cold. They never saw me coming until I paint their walls red. Logan doesn't know how they hurt me. He doesn't know about the screams they ignored. He doesn't know how twisted that town really is. He just knows people are dying. He doesn't know he's in love with their killer. No one suspects a dead girl, and Logan doesn't suspect the girl is in his bed. They're looking for a monster, not a girl who loves red, not a girl in love. I'm a faceless nightmare, at least until I tell them the story they've pretended never happened. But in the end, will Logan choose them, or will we watch them burn together?
Jesus.
I know, it was so good.
I have it.
Oh, you'd fly through it. It's 5 books in one. It's really long, but it's very fast.
Yeah. What's it? It's an omnibus. Is that what they're called? Where it's like more than one book and like one.
I think so.
Big one. I have a few of them, and they like intimidate the shit out of me because I'm like, I have like a series of like 3 or 4 like books, and they're all separate, and I'm like, I'll fly through that. But then like when it's like an omnibus and it's like this, I'm like, oh my god, I'm intimidated.
I know. Right. I put like a tab in when each book starts, and it's like, oh, it's less than 200 pages. Like, it's not bad, but
this is an romance one, and like I still haven't read this series, even though I love the author because of how like gigantic.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well, and you're kind of committing to doing it all in a row, pretty much. Then too, like whereas sometimes with a series you might take a break.
True.
Or like bounce. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so
how do we want to guess?
Should we
each guess and then she can tell us if we're right?
Yeah.
Okay, you go first, Gare.
Me?
Guess on Kate's first.
Do I only guess like one, or do I like say like?
You don't have to like just have one word.
Okay, so here, based on your choices, here are what I think that could be your theme. Okay, techie murder thrillers, California-based books, and action-packed thrillers.
I was trying to personify Techie Becky.
That's what I was going to say, Tech World or Silicon Valley, but I couldn't remember if the middle one was actually in Silicon Valley.
Yeah, it kind of wasn't. So you're right.
You actually like tricked me too, because like they were all in California.
So yeah, they kind of are.
They're all in California, and like I also was like wondering like on the tech base if it was just like high tech thrillers.
Yeah.
Or if it was artificial intelligence and thrillers, because I didn't know how far the tech, like the technological aspect got.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, you guys figured me out. So now we need to guess about Gare. I mean,
well, you can go in 2 ways.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would say that Gare's is dark academia with a focus on messy female relationships.
Ooh, yeah, I was gonna say either dark academia and or toxic friendship.
100%, 100%. I actually my like pick was going to be toxic friendships, and then I
Nice.
realized that like all of the ones that I like really enjoyed took place in like college.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Checks
So that
out.
was like, if we want to get really specific, it can be like toxic friendships and dark academia. So you guys
Yeah.
nailed it.
Oh,
We're so smart. We're all so smart.
yeah.
Okay, Steph.
Okay.
Right. I'll be interested.
I feel like it's about revenge, is the one that I could see in all three of them.
That's so interesting.
I said
Two of them, I see something that I don't see in the other one.
I said revenge thrillers or characters that have secret pasts.
Mm,
So the interesting thing about how, like, reading the synopsis first, all three of them to me had like a really solid friendship element, like a good friendship.
yeah.
Because in the first one,
Oh.
there's like the six friends, and
Mm-hmm.
Jane Doe, she's like avenging her best friend. And
Yes.
then in the Mindfuck series, like the guy that helps her get revenge is her best friend. And he like
Oh,
Oh.
he helps her like take down the town. And
nice.
so like it is interesting because when we were reading the synopses first, I was like, I couldn't believe Jane Doe didn't say anything about the friend
That
in the
is
synopsis.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I was reading them, I was like, oh, this seems like a revenge thing, which was like too obvious. That's why I didn't pick it.
It's not too obvious.
Yeah. But
It's
I
just what
really
they
yeah,
thought
all
I hit the
are.
nail on the head with like the secret past
that's a good
or
one.
like
I know that was
revisiting
a
their
good one.
past. I
Yeah.
really thought that I did because they all seem to do that.
Yeah.
That's also true. My like honorary fourth one I picked was "So Thirsty" by Rachel Harrison because that's like straight about a friendship. And then I almost picked "The Golden Cage," but I just talked about that one last week. So
Yeah.
yeah. And what I'm reading right now, "The Three Lives of Kate K," is a really interesting friendship story.
I'm so intrigued by that
Oh
one.
my
I am
gosh.
too.
I almost threw it across the room at one part, but then I almost started crying at another part. So it's
Oh
interesting.
my gosh.
I haven't
It's
felt that way about a book. I don't know if I've ever felt that way where I'm like I was mad.
Wow. Does it feel really literary? Because I keep seeing that. Okay, cool.
Really?
Yeah. I saw that in a couple reviews and I was like, huh.
I wouldn't. That's not really my jam, so I wouldn't say that.
Right.
One thing that's interesting about it is like so the main character is like an author and it's almost like people in her life like submitted their own versions of things and she has like little footnotes in them and stuff so
Oh,
like that's
mm,
kind of interesting but I wouldn't have used that word I guess
okay. Good.
but
it's really funny too because the last time that we had recorded when you mentioned that, I was like, I need to request this on NetGalley like the next
Mhm.
morning. And I went to check my email and they had reached out to me and they were like, do you want an arc of this? And I was like,
That is so
yeah
perfect.
they really are listening in.
I swear to
They
God
are.
Everyone is. I just finished the new Darby Kane, What the Wife Knew.
How'd you feel about it?
ooh
So snarky. Oh my god, so snarky. I really loved the ending.
Oh my gosh.
Um
interesting
it's my second favorite thriller of hers. Like Pretty Little
Wow.
Wife is always going to be my favorite, but this one was really 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 good. She made
Oh my.
Perla from the last party kind of look like Snow White.
what
What?
damn
Yeah, like the snarkiness and like what she says and like how she
Damn.
says it to people. I was like, this character is a biatch and I'm obsessed with her.
God. Now I need to read this too.
oh yeah
You have to read the
and
final act.
And that.
which one is that one?
Lisa Gray. It's like the one about the
Oh
actress who goes missing and it's like dual timeline and it's super dark, and it deals with
Love
like toxic TikTokers who like try to like solve crimes when they don't know what they're doing.
Has like
And
everything I love.
oh my
Yeah.
God. And there's like other things in it. I'm just like obsessed.
When does it come out?
It's out.
Oh,
It's
it's out.
out.
Oh,
I think it might be on Kindle
It's on
Unlimited
Kindle
too.
Unlimited. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
downloaded it. I have it there, so it looks at me. But I need to finish. I need to finish a couple other things.
I downloaded it on Kindle Unlimited, and then when I read it, I ordered a physical copy so it can be in my picture for
Yeah,
the end of the year of like all of my favorites.
yeah.
nice.
Also, I cannot wait for you, Gare, speaking of bitchy, to read Nowhere, No Place Left to Hide, or Megan Lally's new one. I'm interested
I
in
keep
reading.
seeing people losing their minds about that one.
Oh my God, I
Oh,
want
like
it
some of
so
the
bad.
burns, because you know how I feel about YA dialogue sometimes. But like
Mm-hmm.
some of the burns, I was like, damn.
Damn.
Because there's definitely like a friendship rivalry, or like what turned
Yeah.
into a rivalry, and it's wild. But yeah, it's very fast paced. Very, very.
I can't wait to read it because I also saw your comparison with I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
And I also remember reading That's Not My Name. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, That's Not My Name. And when I got to the ending of it, I was like, this is not YA.
I
This is
know. I
fucking
know.
disturbing.
No. Yeah.
So I'm very
It's another
excited.
January one, and now I can't decide if I should request it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
buy
mean,
it.
it's like 255 pages, so I think you would
Yeah.
read it really quickly. I will say, so I actually looked up the trailer for I Know What You Did Last Summer just to like see if I was right, because it's
Yeah.
been so long, but I was like, okay, the something happened in the past and like the friendships, like that's where I think it is. It's not as like slashery, but like the vibes are there.
Yeah.
The vibes are there.
The vibes were there. Because I was like, oh yeah, Ryan Phillippe just being kind of an asshole. Like, I love it.
Oh my God, he was so mean in that movie. That's probably why I've ended up in a lot of shitty positions that you guys have to hear about. I think my love of toxic men started with Ryan Phillippe and was
Probably
resurrected by Jacob Elordi.
Yeah, Cruel Intentions, and I Know What You Did Last Summer, Ryan Phillippe. Okay. Oh,
Yep. Yep. There we go. There we go.
I'm trying to
And
think
they're
of the
filming
first
the new
character I
one.
was obsessed with.
They're filming the
Male.
new one
Oh yeah.
in Australia right now.
Mm.
I'm super pumped for that.
They're bringing Cruel Intentions back, or they already brought it back too. That's wild.
Reviews are not too hot, kids.
Yeah.
The one little preview I saw, I was like, meh.
Didn't look great.
I feel old because I'm like, is this little pipsqueak supposed to be like the heartthrob that Ryan Phillippe was for this new generation?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just like, if you have to go with people that are actually like 28 to 32, please do. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, right? I know.
Yeah. Because I'm like, back in my day, Ryan Phillippe and Josh Hartnett were like, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And Josh Hartnett had those awful bangs.
They were the worst.
And he was still hot. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes bangs get out of hand.
They can. They can. No shade.
Oh no, I'm throwing my own shade. My bangs have gotten out of hand before.
No. Your bangs, even if your bangs decided to go fully rebellious on you, they would never look like the Courtney Cox bangs from Scream 3.
I know. It felt like it one time.
I need to.
Oh my gosh. Have you guys watched anything lately that you loved?
Oh, I love the new A Man on the Inside with Ted Danson.
Yes.
I think it's the same person that did The Good Place.
It is.
It's very heartwarming. I cried. I'm not done with it, but like if you need just like a good soul show, it's good. Yeah.
It's funny and it makes you cry. It is good at both. We just found one. I know this will not be for you, Gare, but for people who really like sitcoms, kind of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and The Office and that kind of stuff, there's one on Peacock called St. Denis Medical, and like sitcoms are like hit and miss. So like you just don't know if they're going to be good. We were cracking up from the beginning. So if you need a funny show to lighten up your life right now, I highly recommend it. It is just consistently funny.
Oh, I love the guy that's in it that was in Secret Life of College Girls, and he was in that show, Jury Duty, the one where like the one guy didn't know that it was a show and everyone else was an actor.
Mm-hmm.
Guy, I like him.
I fucking hated him in
like
Sex Lives of College Girls.
Well, I hated him, but like I like him in general. Or is that
Mm-hmm.
him? Yeah.
He angered me so much in that. Oh, I need to watch that. That just came out.
Yeah, season 3's out. It's releasing every week or something.
Mm.
Yeah, that show's so good. I've watched it like 4 times. Yeah.
All I've been doing, I feel like I'm never gonna have like a good recommendation because all I do is just consistently repeat. Like what I've watched lately is the 1974 version of Black Christmas as a comfort watch.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched Tell Me Lies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still watching, like, I watched a really good episode of Law and Order last night.
Ooh.
SVU.
Nice.
We rewatch a lot too. Actually, I've never really watched Modern Family. AJ's watched it before.
And Kate is like such a like, I'm not rewatching shit.
Mm-mm.
Or rereading
I
it.
need to rewatch some stuff before the new stuff comes out, though.
That there are a few shows, like I'm tempted to rewatch Severance because I loved it so much, but I think it was 3 or 4 years ago that I watched the first season, and it's one of those shows where there's so much going on that like you need to like have the world in your mind going into the second one. So it's like every now and then I will, but then there are also a lot of good YouTubers who do good like 15 to 20 minute recaps of a whole season, and that tends to like be enough sometimes too. Yeah, it's like for me the fun of watching or reading something is that I don't know what's going to happen, and then typically the genre, like I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen. So then if I already know, I'm like
Yeah. You know what's really good is Shrinking on Apple TV.
Yes,
and is slowly coming out, and this season to me is like the episodes are just so good.
Oh,
like
we've been waiting for them all to air, but now you're getting me even more excited.
Like the way that the different characters, like their stories run kind of parallel to each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Is phenomenal. And I don't really notice that stuff, to be honest. Like I'm not that deep. Like I notice it in this, and I was like, holy shit, this is so
You're like, I noticed something.
Yeah. Oh, they're trying to do this here, for sure.
Yeah. Dude, I want to watch what keeps getting great reviews, but I haven't had like a 9-hour time commitment just open up. But The Penguin on HBO is getting such good reviews. People are saying it's like as good as The Sopranos. And I'm like, that's a big thing to say. And it's like a lot of people saying that. So it's one that I wish I could watch, but I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit it in.
Yeah.
We saw Interstellar in IMAX though, because it came back for its 10-year anniversary. So good in IMAX. And there's an example. If it's been 10 years and I can go see it in IMAX, I'll go rewatch something. Tyler leaned over halfway through, and like he was the one who like found out and was like, oh, I want to go see it. I was like, okay, I'll figure out how. And he leaned over when we were like 20 minutes in. He's like, I'm just realizing I don't know what this movie's about at all. I was like, what? Yeah. It's really good though.
We also watched The Perfect Wife on Hulu. It's that about Sherry Panini.
Papini.
Panini.
Panini works too.
Sherry the sandwich.
I had listened to a podcast before. And so as we were starting, I was like, I know what happens, but it was like a 1 episode podcast. AJ had no idea. So I was like interested to see what he would think when it was done.
Yeah.
So I won't spoil it for any listeners, but like
it is a wild ride.
It's wild.
There's like a moment where like I felt you just feel so bad for someone. And like the way that the doc is like built and the way you're like getting the information, like I just felt so bad for someone. At one point, I was like, this is horrific. Like, imagine this.
Mm-hmm.
Someone coming and telling you this, basically. I'm jumping all around to avoid spoilers, but it was really well produced.
Yeah, I agree.
I think I watched that too.
I think you did. I feel like you posted about it with Murphy.
Yeah, it's like the really like she's a very like small statured blonde lady with bangs, like really bright blue eyes that goes
Mm-hmm.
missing.
Yeah.
And she was going for a run and she got like picked up in an SUV and she goes missing and then like all of a sudden 22 days later she's found in like
Yeah.
a
Mm-hmm.
parking lot.
Yeah.
And they were treating it like they were calling her like the media was calling her like Gone Girl, right? Because they didn't believe that they didn't believe her story.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's different. There's also a documentary called like American something that is similar. Do you guys remember that one where the guy had
Mm-mm.
like swim goggles on?
American Nightmare or
Nightmare?
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I almost thought that was the going to be the Sherry Papini story,
Yeah.
and then I realized it was different. So like
Right.
the synopses sound the same
They
because
do.
that one also was like, oh, is this Gone Girl?
Yeah.
Um, so one show that I really, really, really want to rewatch is called
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable on Netflix. Have you guys watched that?
I don't
No.
know.
It's
What's it
based
about?
on a true story. And it has Caitlin Dever in it, Tony Collette, and Merritt Weaver from
Wow.
Nurse Jackie,
Wow.
and it is incredible. Um, it's based on the Washington and Colorado serial rape cases, and it follows a woman who was charged with a crime for reporting that she
Yes.
was raped, and like the two detectives that like actually believed her. So like she gets
Oh.
raped in the beginning of the story, and then the detectives like don't believe her, and they're kind of like, well, what about this and what about that? And then she's like, okay, fine, like you think I made it up, I made it up. And then they charge her with like falsely falsely filing for
Oh
like
my
a rape.
God.
But these two women detectives, like they are like, I think that she was telling the truth, and like they kind of like investigate other rapes happening on like the West Coast that they think that like have like too many like eerie similarities, so they think that she's like telling
Yeah.
the truth. It's one of my favorite shows, and I keep seeing it on TikTok, so I'm like, maybe it's time to
Mm.
rewatch it.
Yes, I think I
Wow.
started it and I was almost like this might be too heavy for me at the first one and then I don't know if I finished it. But yeah, I love that one. She's in New Girl too. She played like Schmidt's ex-girlfriend. Her.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I love
yeah.
it. Hmm.
She's in a show called Nurse Jackie that was
Yeah.
like popular on Showtime, and she was
Hmm.
like so funny and like witty in that, but like in this she's like no bullshit, like almost like Kate Winslet and like Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh my god, like what a complete and utter difference. But
What
it's
a
such a good
badass.
show.
Yeah, I think I should revisit that.
So even though I watched it like 5 years ago, that's my recommendation because I've just been rewatching shit ever since.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm. Well, then you can tell us things that we kind of forgot about or don't know about that aren't necessarily new, which is always good.
Yeah.
True. True.
Yeah.
Is this based on a book? I think I bought the book, Unbelievable, and I don't think I read it, but I think there is a
There's probably a true
it's
crime
based
book
on
about
an
it.
unbelievable story of rape by T. Christian Miller and Ken Armstrong. So yeah, I think I was gonna read it first and then I never did.
Yeah. Or it's an
Interesting.
article.
Oh,
Maybe it
let
was
me
an
see.
article. It could be part of like a short story though. I don't
For
know.
sure.
It's
I
just
don't
really,
know
really
either.
good. It's really good. And like
Hold on.
what the fuck's her name? Tony Collette like can do no wrong.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
she's
I
amazing.
know. She's
Yeah.
so talented.